Joe Biden is sick and tired of you're not paying enough in taxes. I'm going to tell you his latest comments right now. Hi, I'm Andrew Henderson, the author of this book available on Amazon and the founder of Nomad Capitalist, where we help 7- and 8-figure entrepreneurs and investors legally go where you're treated best. You can learn more at nomadcapitalist.com. And the 5 magic words, go where you're treated best, more important than ever. Because I think what the election of Joe Biden did was really shook a lot of people up. You had the pandemic that's shaken people up all over the world, more people than ever coming to Nomad Capitalist, not only from the US, but from Canada, Australia, Western Europe, countries that realize their freedoms are being taken away, their taxes are going to go up. If they are business owners, they are going to foot a big chunk of the bill, all because a few big multinational companies don't pay much in tax. I know very well, and you know very well, that the average successful entrepreneur in these Western countries is paying a fortune. But here's the headline from Joe Biden's latest town hall on CNN. Biden says he's tired of trickle down, living at the middle class. Just pay his fair share. That's the message to the entrepreneurs and the investors out there, people who have been making money this last year, day trading stocks, investing in crypto, building up their businesses. We've been building up our business during the pandemic, not because we had anything to do with the pandemic or we caused it, but we've been building up our business. And now if you're living in the United States, if you're living in a Western country, they want you to pay your fair share. This is an article from Insider, businessinsider.com. It says economic recovery is largely driving President Joe Biden's agenda, and to him, a primary part is boosting the middle class. To do that, he said, the wealthy need to start paying their fair share in taxes. Haven't we been hearing this for a long time? Haven't we been hearing this like for my entire life? That if only the rich people, which, by the way, they never define what is rich. To him, by the way, they have defined it, I guess, in Arizona, where I spent a number of years living. They are basically doubling the income tax if you make a mere $250,000 a year. That's a decent salary. It's not exactly filthy rich in the U.S. Joe Biden, $400,000. That defines you as the evil rich. And then the politicians go out and say, no one who makes less than $400,000. There are more people than ever making more than $400,000. There are plenty of new millionaires that have been minted in the last year, which should be a good thing because it shows the fact that you can still become successful. Now, the difference since Joe Biden started in politics a gazillion years ago is that now other people can become successful. And we have people that we help from Morocco to Egypt to Ukraine to Argentina who have also become multimillionaires because the internet and the democratization of knowledge and information and access to markets has become so much better in our lifetime. But Joe Biden, who's been in politics for 5 decades, is still trying to boost the middle class. And I'm all for that. But Joe Biden wants to take your money and give it to somebody else because Joe Biden, by the way, he thinks those people can't make it on their own. They need your money. I'm tired of trickle down, he says during the CNN town hall. I come from the corporate state of America, which what I've been telling you for some time is these politicians, they create a problem. Right? It's like Harry Brown who used to say this. They create a problem and then they come with a solution and they act like they're the savior. He created the corporate states of America. I don't think any of us who are entrepreneurs who are paying 40 and 50% in tax, I don't think any of us want to have an unlevel playing field. We talked about Jeff Bezos, who is now the poster child for what they call tax avoidance. Jeff Bezos, yes, Amazon has lobbied for online merchants to pay sales tax. They did that. And I guess that benefited Amazon and it hurt all the small stores. Those of us who are running small to medium businesses, we do not want the government picking winners and losers. We are not the ones benefiting from this, but we're the ones who will be blamed. And that's the big cultural problem I always tell you about. The article continues, I've never seen a time when we have the middle class growing that the wealthy didn't do very, very, very well, because to people like Joe Biden, it's all about keeping score. Nothing is organic for Joe Biden. So that's what we have to do. Build it out and up, not just down, he said, referring to the economy. While Biden did not mention a wealth tax or a corporate tax hike during the town hall, he had previously expressed support for hiking taxes for the rich. And I would add he's being pushed from the fringe parties. So people say about politics, and I've said this about Canada and other countries, they say, oh, the people who are pushing the wealth tax, people who are pushing extraterritorial taxes, like if you're a citizen of the country, the same way the U.S. does, they will start taxing you even if you leave. Oh, those people are fringe people. They'll never be in charge. Well, Bernie Sanders will never be in charge either, but he is in charge because he has Joe Biden's ear and he has the ear of the electorate, which Joe Biden needs to get elected. He's pulling the whole thing to the left. Biden has previously expressed support for hiking taxes on the rich. In April, Biden defended his proposal to raise the corporate tax rate to 28% to level the playing field for businesses and average Americans. How does that work? How does raising taxes level the playing field? I'm not sure how that works. He continues, I'm not trying to punish anybody. But damn it, maybe it's because I come from a middle-class neighborhood. I'm sick and tired of ordinary people being fleeced. This is what it's all about for these guys. This is what it is all about. Is if you're not paying 28 instead of 21, you're fleecing someone. Have you noticed that in everything? We've read article after article after article about Elizabeth Warren says, we got to go after the wealthy tax cheats. And if you look at all what she's saying, the entire context is, if you're wealthy, you must be a tax cheat. That's the entire ethos, is you guys are screwing us over, you're ripping us off. They've never met an honest, wealthy person in their life, I guess, or they don't want to because that would imply to their base. They need to keep getting elected and grifting off the public dime. But what is this? The ordinary people are being fleeced because corporations aren't paying? I thought the issue was that Elon Musk was paying zero. How about you fix that? Now, quite frankly, I'm all in favor of zero tax rates. I'm all in favor of 0 and 1 and 5%. I think countries should have the right to do that. Now, if you're Jeff Bezos and you want to build a big business in the U.S., I guess you deal with what you get. But why isn't Joe Biden fixing this? Now, I guess that's what he's saying he's going to do now. They will not do it properly. They will make a mess of it because it is a corporate state, and the United States is one of the most corrupt countries in the Western world, but it's corrupt at a high level. You can't pay off the police or pay off the building inspector, but at the highest levels, it is indeed corrupt. That said, how does 28% level the playing field for anyone, and how does this emotional nonsense, this idea where you have these politicians that are so involved in everything that, he's going to tell you he's from a middle-class neighborhood. We never heard that before, Joe, honestly. I mean, that's news to us. He's from a middle-class neighborhood. How does that help anything? How do these politicians pandering to the average person help anything? You know what I like? I went to a country once and I had a friend who was in some political circles. He said, I never look in anyone else's pocket. Right now in the U.S. and in the West, everyone's looking in everyone's pocket. It's their right. Now, there are some cultures, like those in some of the Northern European cultures, where they publish how much you paid in tax. If that's what those people want to do, I guess if that has broad consensus, fine, and you have the right to leave. But for most of us, we don't. What is this? If we're not paying enough, we are fleecing someone. It's ridiculous. And it shows that things are such a zero-sum game to these politicians, that there's no more wealth to be created. It's just a matter of we're going to shuffle it around and where does it go? I believe that there's plenty more wealth to be created, and you should go, if you're the one creating it, you should go where you're treated best. As Insider reported, Biden has not supported the idea of a wealth tax or an outright tax on someone's net worth, but he has supported a capital gains tax, which applies to existing assets. We've talked about how he's been interested in potentially an unrealized capital gains tax, where they tax you at what you already have. The article continues, the idea of a wealth tax is popular among Democrats. Senator Elizabeth Warren has been a leader proposing an ultra-millionaire tax. It always has to sound, as long as it sounds good. They would tax the top 0.05% of American households, which, by the way, will increase because more people are becoming ultra-millionaires because they have taken the effort and initiative to learn a skill or develop a business or trade or do whatever it is. They've taken risks with crypto or a business, and they've developed wealth. More people are becoming millionaires all around the world. The number of high net worth individuals and ultra high net worth individuals is growing every year, less so in the West than it is in China and elsewhere. But it is growing as more people make more money, and that means, I guess, more opportunities for Elizabeth Warren and Joe Biden to tax you. The article continues about, Joe Biden, here's the closing remarks. By the way, I think you should be able to go out and make $1 billion or $100 million, but to do it, if you have the capacity to do it, Biden said at the town hall. But I ask just one thing, pay your fair share. Just pay your fair share. Now, I would like to hear your comments on this because I've been thinking about this for a long time. To me, you've got 350 million people, roughly, in the U.S., something like that. Perhaps they should take the federal budget and just divide it by 350 million and send everyone a bill. Perhaps that would be fair. And then corporations would not have to deal with the corporation tax. The bill would get, but I'm not an economist. This is not my formal economic proposal. But what is a fair share? I could argue that's a fair share. And maybe then people would be more concerned about the waste and fraud and corruption and everything else going on that wastes so much money. have certainly had mixed opinions on Donald Trump on this channel, but he was correct when he said in the 2016 election, if he would have paid more, it would have been squandered as well. That is what people like Joe Biden do, is they are experts at squandering money. But of course, they grift a little bit off the top, which is why Bernie Sanders, who wants to lecture all of us for why you don't need a private jet, I would say, Bernie, why do you need 3 homes? But Joe Biden wants to go out and make money as long as you pay your fair share. The most important thing is that Joe Biden will determine that fair share. And that is the very problem of doing business in the West right now. As Steve Wynn, the former casino mogul, said, there is more certainty doing business in China. This is years ago, and I think it's only gotten worse. There's more consistency and more certainty doing business in China than doing business in the U.S. You have no idea what they're going to do next. And if you're in business, if you're in the investment space, you want certainty. You want to know what's happening next. You don't want to be guessing what your fair share will be tomorrow. And that's the point. They'll never tell you what the fair share is. They want you to stay in suspense. So Joe Biden wants you to know, make sure you pay your fair share. What should a fair share be? Leave a comment below. So people ask, Andrew, how do I get the most out of Nomad Capitalist? How do I begin my Nomad Capitalist journey? The first thing people do is they start right where you're at. They watch YouTube, they listen to podcasts, they read articles at nomadcapitalist.com. We've spent years creating thousands of pieces of free content so that you can get the vibe from someone who's actually done this, from someone who's actually been in your shoes. What they'll do next, they'll get a copy of the book. You can find it on Amazon. It costs a few bucks, and while it's not going to give you all the secrets, it's going to, again, give you more of the vibe. You're going to learn a lot of the things that I've learned. You're going to learn some strategies you can employ, and you're going to get a lot further in your journey. From there, if you are the 7 or 8 figure entrepreneur investor, you can go to nomadcapitalist.com. You can click Become a Client. We're pretty busy these days, but we have availability to help a limited number of people who want to create a holistic plan, something that I think is so important. So if you want to do that, go to nomadcapitalist.com, click Become a Client, learn more about how it works and how we can help you.